Warning: the following episode of That Mental Ginger Show contains strong language and adult themes.
Alright, troops.
This episode of That Mental Ginger Show is recorded at Scuff Studios in Swanston Street, Glasgow. If you're looking to do podcasts, music, or any creative passions, these guys will have you covered. For more information, contact Scuff Studios at scuff.studios.gla@gmail.com or find them on Facebook or Instagram and drop them a message. Scuff Studios, to nurture your creative passions. Hello and welcome to That Mental Ginger Show with your host Andrew Durning, aka The Mental Ginger. Well, my three faithful followers, this is going to be an interesting one. It's a ukulele player. And up until about 2 years ago, I didn't even realise the ukulele existed. Craig Gallagher. Craig, thanks for coming on the show, buddy.
Well, your follower count's going to go right down after me being on, so...
I've been cancelled about 6 times now, so don't worry, mate. It's going to be all right.
7, mate. We'll go for 7. Why not?
Why not? I'm going for double digits. Well, I want to make sure that everybody looks at this and goes, oh, fuck, what's he saying
What,
now?
these absolute degenerates that are taking up their time, aye?
Yeah, definitely.
That's my life in a nutshell.
Well, that actually leads into the first question, because what I like to do is to get the guests to tell me about their origin stories, because everybody's got one. So, Craig, in your own time, tell us your origin story.
No worries. Well, basically, I'm Craig. I'm 26. I'm originally from the south side of Glasgow, and I originally trained as an actor at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland from when I was about 5 till I was 11. And then I started getting into music. I started playing the guitar because I started really getting into like Rush, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, listening to the classic rock music.
Nice.
So I started off originally acting and singing, playing like musicals and everything.
Yeah.
Done a couple of parts. I played Oliver Twist in like the King's Theatre, I think, when I was a kid.
Oh, nice.
And,
I've actually done Oliver twice. What, the show?
Casino.
And that's us cancelled.
That was too easy, folks.
Yeah, that's us cancelled for the 7th time. But I was Fagin in both productions.
You're vegan?
Fagin, not vegan. What? No, definitely not.
I'm sorry, mate. I'm really, really giggly at the minute.
Yeah. What? I'm chalking up to that you're nervous and know that you're a prick.
No, yeah, one of them's true.
We'll just let the audience decide which one.
Pretty much, aye.
So you went to the conservatoire when...
No, it sounds posher than it was. It was but before it changed to the conservatoire, it was called the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama.
Believe me, I'm an old git. I remember that.
I went there. I went there like every single Saturday and everything, like doing like the drama classes. Then I started learning about public speaking. Started like getting into my own confidence, like being on stage, and like basically just enjoying myself and being a tit on stage.
Yeah, that's I think the reason why a lot of us do it is because we get to be maybe that person on stage that we can't be in real life.
It depends. Like I think like when I'm like on stage and everything, you're just like a heightened character of what you are. I think so. I just take my madness with me and just bring it on stage. But I think everybody's a little bit different in those types of eras. I'm just lucky because I am mad as a box of frogs.
Well, that's something that we've kind of both got in common. So tell me what more about your journey with what performance side of it.
Okay, well, as I said, I started when performing basically when I fell out the womb. So I've always it's all I've really known, just performing and going to the conservatoire. Then when I was 12, I was thinking, right, I really need to learn an instrument because I can't really rely on my voice or my acting. So I thought I'd have to like learn an instrument. So I started picking up the guitar when I was about 12. Played that for a bit, and then when I was 18, my girlfriend at the time bought me a ukulele as a joke. She's one of these little crap like plastic black ones that you get for like 15 quid from like Tesco or whatever. Yeah. Even if I don't know if Tesco do ukuleles, but just go with that.
Yeah, we'll just go with it.
And then so she bought that for me, thinking it was a joke, and I actually ended up loving it more than her.
Brilliant.
And then it just started taking off. That I started posting like covers on like my Instagram, like YouTube. And then when I was about 19 years old, like I started to make like a little living out of it while I was on my year out from uni.
Nice one.
Yeah. And then I went to uni, and then all the self-esteem and all the mind-crushing anxiety that comes with that sort of really made me... I stopped started performing, thinking, if I go to uni, I want to learn this craft. For the audience, if you're wanting to do something performance wise, do not study it because it will just completely ruin your creativity.
Well, what uni did you go to?
I went to Chester Uni.
Chester?
I moved to Chester in 2016. I know, posh boy, I know.
Did you move because you got into uni or?
I got rejected for Napier in Manchester, and like Chester was my backup, and they took me on.
Brilliant. At least you had backups. What to kind of like to look at? I applied to uni and I got one, and that was it. And then I didn't go to uni. That's another story for another day.
To be fair, I wish I didn't really go to uni, but at the same time, like
a lot
all
of
the
people do have
experiences.
They have the same kind of things about like uni. I mean, we've had kind of guests on before where they went to uni and things have kind of it's just not worked. It's not worked out for it. So why do you think it had those bits of kind of problems for you?
I think it's because I've just got trouble just sitting down in like a lecture room for like 3 hours a day. I think that was just like mainly my thing. Because like when I like to like learn, I like to like I like to like visualize it and everything. Like being a musician, I like to like play my instrument, be creative. But like sitting like mind-numbingly, sitting in a mind-numbingly boring lecture. It's just basically that's just why I just realised I just didn't really fit in with uni and everything. I just can't sit still for long enough.
Yeah.
And there's just all the added pressures with uni as well as obviously trying to find work and everything, trying to figure out what you want to do in your own life. Because when you start uni, you're still essentially a baby. Like if you're in your like early 20s and everything. So I feel like there's a lot of growth that you have to do before you get to like the next level. And I think uni can help with that with people. But for people like me, it just sort of just created my passion. And then when I left uni, I became self-employed and started doing working in social media and music, and it's all ended up working out.
So you're one of those influencers, would you say?
Fuck no.
Yes. Oh man.
No. Social media
you're
marketer.
Saying you're making a living
social media marketer.
Yeah, you're saying you're making a living out of social media. Like, I mean, come on, like that's the way that they'll all be describing it.
No, I hate it, but I go. Just call me an influencer if you want, but I'm not a very good influence.
You influenced your way to come on this show, so I think you're a pretty good influencer.
I'm just a good talker, mate. That's it.
Yeah, well, I can know that. I can barely get a fucking word on edgeways, know what I mean?
I know that Mental Craig show. Yeah. Season 4. Let's that for the next season.
Yeah, that's going to be the spin-off, that Mental Craig show. Well, and in fairness, like, I know plenty of Mental Craigs that I can get on.
No, just mental. That's it.
Well, you did touch on, saying that you did have something, mental. So if you're comfortable talking about it.
I've had my fair share of like mental health and everything when I was younger. It basically all really sort of started when my mum died when I was 10. She died of cancer and everything. Usually when that sets in with someone so young, they either go one way or the other. They can either go the way I luckily did, that use that all that grief and everything, try turning it into something like creative, or just end up turning into like an absolute degenerate. And where I'm from in Glasgow, Pollock, it was all around me. It was like drugs, everything. It was just very easy just to go into that sort of like cycle and everything of like drugs, like alcohol. Addiction and everything, but I'm so lucky that I turned out the way I did.
Yeah, and my for being so honest about it.
It's alright. Yeah, it's not.
What type of cancer did she have?
She had leukemia.
Leukemia. Well, because my wife, she lost both her parents before she was 14, and what got her mum was leukemia.
Yeah.
As well.
It's a shit fucking disease.
Yeah. Because what Alison has told me kind of about some of the stuff that, because this was obviously before I met her. I didn't meet her until she was 30. Just hearing some of the stories about it.
No, it does make your toes curl and everything.
Did she go for? I take it she went for treatment and stuff.
She went through chemo and everything. And that was pretty much like what I can remember from most of my childhood. It's just like, and it was just going back up and down to the hospital and everything for her treatment. And she was also a nurse. I was raised by nurses as well, so my whole life was like going up to like the hospital where if my mum was on a split shift. Yeah, I'd drive up with my dad and then go back down like when they switch over shifts and everything. So my life was very much like going to like hospitals and everything, even if I didn't need to go to the hospital because they worked in. It's fine. Like, was it the big hospital in Glasgow that she was in? Yeah, she was in Southern General. Yeah, because without a doubt, probably the worst hospital I've ever had experiences in. Yeah, that's where Alison's mum was, I think, as well. But yeah, it's not.
I'm really sorry that you did have to go
That's
through
alright.
that. And what about, so,
I'm just sorry for making viewers cry. Sorry, guys.
Don't worry about it. That's the whole point of this podcast, is that we're talking about the things. Yeah, we have a laugh and we have a joke, but what I want to talk about the things that people don't feel comfortable hearing.
Yeah.
And if people are comfortable to talk about it, like you have been and been so open, and I'm really appreciative.
No, sorry, mate.
It helps raise a bit of awareness, because bottom line, these things happen.
Yeah. No, shit does happen, but you have to. It's in this type of world, especially in like in the 2020s now, it is literally sink or swim. Mm-hmm. It's like it doesn't matter if you're born like a millionaire or in poverty. People are like, we're all broken in the inside, and we're all just trying to figure this life thing out. And the people that have been dealt like a worst hand have to work extra hard to get that. And I think once they get to the end of that light, there's so much validation that you get and everything, so much sense of accomplishment, thinking, right, I've been through this absolute horrendous time and I've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think everybody should just try and keep striving for that, no matter how crap life can get.
Man, you're so inspirational. You're going to fucking take my job in a minute.
I told you, mate, I'm working on the sequel right now. Further out in the first episode, I'm getting McWeedy back on again because he was sick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for anybody that didn't have the illusion just broken for you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's show business.
Yeah, it's what happens. It's what happens. But yeah. So what? So your dad basically raised you? What?
No, my dad was a bit of a... Oh, God. He was physically and mentally abusive. See you next Tuesday.
I was going to say...
And I was pretty much essentially raised by my granny.
Yeah.
Really, my mum's mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after like my mum died and everything, my dad was just he was just constantly, even when my mum was alive, he was just physically and mentally abusive and everything. And the only compliment that he gave me to this day is that I remember he said, "Oh, you might not be good at much, son, but at least you can make a good cup of tea." And do you know what? I fucking can make a great cup of tea.
Oh, I can make a great cup of...
So thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I can make a great cup of coffee. So there we go. We've covered both areas right there. To try and we'll try and obviously keep things a bit light, but I do like...
No, sorry, yeah.
It sounds a bit serious what I'm saying. I do like to hear about like what's happened.
Absolutely. So I'm an open book, mate. I've got nothing to hide. So if there's anything else you want to ask, just go for it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But one thing that we did talk about off air beforehand is you're a Star Wars fan.
I know Star Wars so much.
Yeah.
If anybody that knows me, they know I am a Star Wars slut.
Yeah. The irony is, like, when we were talking about it, we were talking about how it's all about family.
Yeah.
Your family, well, pardon my French, has been a bit of a fuck up.
Yeah. It is what it is, and I think that's why I like fantasy and everything so much and everything.
Well, do you think it's like a bit of an escapism for you?
Yeah, because I sort of relate to Anakin Skywalker a little bit.
You're like...
For like my childhood, I just see like everything that's happened to like Anakin, how he turned to the dark side and became Vader. I'm like, yeah, I could have done that as well. So I sort of related to that at like a very, very young age.
Yeah, you're looking at it like, I could have killed those younglings.
Right.
In fairness, that wee actor was a shite.
What one? Jake Lloyd? The Master Skywalker.
Yeah, that one.
There's too many of them. What are we going to do? You're gonna die.
Yeah, apparently the reason he picked that actor to do that was because he looked like
Anakin. He looked like a young Anakin, yeah. So it was supposed to resemble of him killing his former self. The amount of metaphors in Star Wars, man. George Lucas.
Crazy.
Love George Lucas.
Yeah, I think everybody loves him more, especially after the sequels came out.
Yeah, we talked about that off screen.
We did, talked, ranted, thank God we've got
cuddled.
Yeah, thank God we've got some soundproofing in this room. I think everybody would have heard it by that point. So we met through, meeting through Top Talent Promotions. So how did you get involved with Top Talent?
Honestly, it's quite funny. Actually, I was on LinkedIn looking for freelance work, and then it just came up as a recommended, just saying Top Talent Promotions. I was just like, I was starting just to get properly back into my music career or whatever, just like writing some things and muddling about, and then they added me. We had like a video chat and everything. They basically just sold me the idea of like we're all family and everything. Mm-hmm. And
who did you speak to? Was it Mark or Kirsty?
It was Kirsty straight away. And then she was just like, "Oh God, you're Glaswegian. My husband's for Mark's for Scotland as well."
Yeah, he was a Carluke boy.
Is he? Aye.
Just say he doesn't want to come back up, but well, in fairness,
Fair enough. He lives in he lives in Cornwall now, doesn't he?
Yeah, living in the Cornwall. And if you've watched previous episode, you know I interviewed Kirsty. And yeah, there was some interesting stories with that one. If you haven't watched it, check it out. But yeah, so you kind of got involved through that. And has any opportunities came about through it? Because that's the whole point of Top Talent. We're wanting to try and get talent out there and help nurture them and grow them.
Well, I'm currently working on my debut EP, which is hopefully going to come out in March.
Oh,
and I'm working with John Vivian.
Oh, brilliant.
Big John Vivian. I love John Vivian.
Oh, have you been on his podcast yet?
Not yet, no. I think because we're working on the first single right now. And obviously he's doing his thing as well because he's an amazing producer.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're meeting up at this just right now. We're just meeting up every single week, just writing all the ideas down, getting them all into a sort of a format, and just basically just taking it from there. And honestly, working with him is such a fantastic process.
Yeah, he's such a sound guy.
Yeah, he just makes it. It's just he's just got one of those. He's just got those vibes about you. It's when you meet someone, you're just right. I want to work with you, and you just feel so creative. You feel like you can just start making bloody statues with the guy and everything.
Yeah,
you just feel so inspired and just want to create.
One day they should make a statue of John Ver.
I think they should actually.
I really think they should.
They're
like in Michelangelo's David kind of style, definitely. So what type of genre of music are you planning on doing, or is it just going to be we'll just collaborate and see how we go?
Well, basically, I've got such an eclectic music taste. I can basically go from listening to the Hannah Montana soundtrack to listening to fucking Cannibal Corpse in the space of a song. So
nice.
Right now, I've been mainly inspired by 80s music, sort of synth pop and everything.
Yeah,
I've been sort of inspired by that and everything. So basically, I don't know how to describe it. So all the sounds and everything, and Stranger Things, all that type of thing.
Yeah,
it's sort of like that, but it's completely different to what I've originally played because I've only really played ukulele music, pop music, and rock and blues. So going down the synth route and everything, it's completely interesting to me because I've never done it before.
Yeah,
and I'm just excited just to see where it pans out.
But while we have the ukulele on the tracks,
absolutely,
we've got to have the ukulele.
Yeah, there's one song that I've written. I released it years ago, but I took it down because I just wasn't happy with it. And that song, that's a ballad. That's just going to be straight ballad on the ukulele and everything, and it's a love song that I wrote for my grandparents.
Oh, brilliant! That's fantastic.
So that should be there. Hopefully, the EP will be coming out in March. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, the next time before that comes out, I can hopefully come on and play a few tunes for you.
Oh, definitely.
Sorry, shameless promo. I have to.
No, that's the whole point. I'm wanting to give the artists a chance to promote themselves because one thing I learned is that I am shit at promoting myself.
Yeah.
And I think some performers are the same way. They'll make the stuff, they'll have a great idea, they'll think it's great, and then they'll be like,
how do you promote it?
Yeah, how do you promote it?
Actually, it's so weird as well because I can do that. You can do that for other people, everything you do it for yourself. So yeah, I'll promote you, no problem. But when it comes to your own stuff, you're just like, how the fuck do I do this?
Yeah, definitely.
And even though you've done it so many times, but I think it's just does it come down to the insecurities or just then the subconscious, just oh, I don't know if I want to post this. I don't know if that's just the anxiety and everything speaking.
I think especially in this is going to make me sound like an old fart, but I've been 90 since I was 4. I think the way the generation is now, you're so hesitant about what to say and how to say it because you don't want to step on anybody's toes and you don't want to seem like you're being offensive when you're not. Because I don't think anybody intends to be offensive.
No, have you seen that thing about our generation and everything that we'll go to a rally and everything, we'll smash in a few police cars, but we're too scared to phone the doctors to make an appointment. That pretty much sums up Gen Z in a nutshell.
In fairness, I'm the millennial.
Aye.
And we get such a bad rap. As all generations do, in fairness, I think that's the one thing all generations have in common. Everybody thinks we're shit. And it doesn't matter if you're Gen Z or millennial or a baby boomer.
We're all broken on the inside. Never forget that.
Yep, that's going to be your catchphrase. That's what you call your album. Broken on the inside.
Broken on the inside. That's the B-sides.
Yeah, float that past John, but he'll be like, man, I don't think you should do that. Yeah. So aside from the music side of it, which you're really good at.
Thank you.
I have because I do my stalking.
Your homework.
Well, I call it stalking.
All right, Joe Goldberg.
Yeah. I have a wee look through and I've seen your Instagram stuff as well. And obviously Mark and Kirsty have promoted you. You've got you've got a skill about you. You've got a presence.
Thank you.
And you're really relatable. To talk to.
I thought,
It's one of those things that I feel like I could just be like, right, I'm just gonna let him talk. I'm gonna have a fag. I'll just be like,
then about 9 hours later, I'm still probably talking about the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Just going round in a circle.
yeah. But at the same time, I don't want to switch off
Aye.
from you. Because I feel like the way you present yourself, the way you speak, is like really kind of fascinating.
Thank you.
I know that's a bit of a ramble, but it does lead on to the question that I'm going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
But going back on the stage for like the acting side of it, have you considered going back on?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the last thing that I'd genuinely done, I was in a movie. My scene got cut because it just didn't make any fucking sense.
What movie was it?
Starcash. Do you know who Douglas Sanakin is?
Yes.
Yeah, he played the window cleaner in Gregory's Girl.
Yeah.
I met him and everything. Like, he was a very nice guy. I think I had a pint with him.
Oh, nice.
And I was working in an art gallery at the time on my year out as well while I was doing my social media. So I went for a pint and everything. They were all there, and then we just started talking, and they just asked if I wanted to be in the film.
Yeah.
And he literally just on the spot, Douglas, he just wrote the scene for me, and we shot and filmed it in a bookshop and everything.
Yeah.
But the scene just didn't really fit in the movie. You could just tell that he just wrote that scene for me.
Yeah.
So I was really honoured and everything. He gave me credits in the film, but since that, I've always wanted to get back into acting.
Yeah, that's a bit of a kick in the balls though. They asked you, they wrote a scene for you, they did it, and then they cut it.
It's part and part. It's the part and parcel of the business. It's constant rejection. If you constantly worry about the fear of rejection, you're not going to get anywhere. If you just go in there, just like all guns blazing, be yourself. It's a 50-50 chance.
It's like they're either gonna we're all like Marmite.
The most important thing is if you want to just do something, just go and do it. Like even if you fall on your ass, like at least you can still say that you've done it and build yourself back up again.
Yeah. So see, like maybe the most famous person that you've met, or is there other ones that?
Like, I was supposed to. This is going to get really alternative now. Do you know the emo band Sleeping with Sirens?
Yes.
I was meant to be working. This was years ago. I was meant to be working with their ex-guitarist Jesse Lawson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it was the whole thing. He wanted like an obscene amount of money just to like write a few chords for me and everything.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like it didn't really work out. I started doing a crowdfunding when I started like 2014, but never got anywhere. But that's probably it. And Bill Lemon, Lemmy's dad. I've been pals with him. Bill, he's such a nice guy.
Oh, nice.
And that's pretty much it. And
just try and see if you can get like Lemmy's dad to come on.
Bill?
Like getting Lemmy on would be like that's the one where I know I would get outshadowed. But getting his dad and getting some of the stories about what he's like when he's a kid, that's clickbait, right?
Honestly, like, I've not spoken to Bill in I want to say about a few years now, but like he'd be more than happy just to have a chat with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Genuinely, he's just like one of those guys. Like he would just sit and have a pint, and he would just ramble for hours. And everything, just having a good laugh.
Oh, nice.
And Lemmy's pretty much the exact same. I've met Lemmy once or twice.
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy again. Just
one.
heart of gold.
Oh, brilliant. Well, so you've got the EP coming out.
Right.
And then you're wanting to get back on the stage. What about any other ventures that you might have lined up?
Well, I worked for a renewable energy company doing the content creation for them as well.
Oh, nice.
So I was doing that, and that company's called Clean Air Ventures. Like, you should follow them. Like, I'll give you the links and everything. They're making like big moves and everything in the renewable energy sector.
Nice.
So I've been doing that mainly. And sorry, I just completely forgot what I just lost my train of thought there.
Oh, that's fine, man. That's the whole point. Like and we're not going to cut it because that's what happens when
me look more like an idiot then.
Well, you're after my job, so I have to make it look like a bit of a twat.
That's true.
But it's one of those ones that that's why I never edit any of the stuff anymore, because conversations don't always go.
Yeah, I know.
There is points where you go, oh fuck, I forgot
brain
what I was going to say there. I'm having a brain fart. Yeah. I thought I was the only one that ever heard of that brain fart saying.
No.
I remember I wrote it in a monologue for someone to perform, and it was about like online dating and how it's shit.
Yeah, I hate it. Yeah. I hate online dating.
Yes.
It's the worst thing ever. And my generation, we just seem to love it. I hate it. I'm pretty much like an old soul. I'm like a hopeless romantic.
Yeah, definitely.
I believe like meeting like someone that love like in a pub or on a coffee, a coffee shop and everything, or like anywhere. Yeah. Not meeting someone just by swiping right on their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I hate it. It's just
So I had to go on to an online dating site, and it was because for a movement class in college,
Aye.
one of the movements things was about like all these people that were kind of in their pods looking for love online and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I went on and I just picked like the scummiest one I could find, and it was just like, oh my god, this is soul destroying. This is unreal. So obviously I used it as creative material and basically wrote a script about a woman like in her 40s or 50s and who was trying online dating, and then eventually by the end of it she's like, you know what, I don't need it, I'm fine. And the woman that was performing it for me, Carol Andrews, who is absolutely amazing, she looked at it and she's seen the line brain fart, she's like, I've never heard of that before, but that's so good. And I was like, cool, why not? but no, the irony is, like, I fucking hated online dating, and how I met Alison was that she added me on Facebook.
Oh, all comes full circle, doesn't it?
Well, she was in the NQ performing, and I was in the HND finishing, so she'd seen me in the show, and then so she knew of my existence, and then she's like looking through like Facebook and stuff like that, and she sees my picture, and I'd use like my headshot as a profile picture, because that's what you do when you're in the HND and you get a headshot, you just be a wanker. Aye. And you're just like, I'll just use my headshot as my profile picture. And she looked at it, and this are her words, not mine, she said, I think he's quite dishy. And added me, and then one thing led to another, and yeah, here we are, like 5 years later.
2 wins later.
2 wins. Two for the price of one. Well, that certainly was a bog off deal.
2 wins, the clinical depression, haven't got that in you?
I'm not saying that there's that it was directly involved, but there is parallels. I'm only kidding.
Just coincidences,
definitely. But nah, if my kids are ever watching when they're older, Kieran and Connor,
I'm sorry.
You know that I love you. You know I love you very much. And yeah, the reason that I kept going. So we are starting to come up on time. And thank you so much for your time.
Anytime, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, you've been really, really interesting.
Thank you.
And I'll ask you the question that I ask all my guests. If you could give advice to anyone that's suffering from mental health issues, what would that piece of advice be and why?
Right. Is it all right if I look at the camera for this?
Floor's yours, buddy.
Right, if you're going to struggle, people struggle through mental health on a daily basis, please don't bottle it up, because it just leads to worse situations. There are people out there are mental health helplines, there's your friends and your family. Even if they don't understand what you're going through, people will be there to listen, and if they love you, they will be there to help you and care for you.
So the next episode of That Mental Craig Show, because he's just taken my fucking job. That was really brilliant, man. That's such good advice as well.
It's just the truth bit.
Yeah, it was the passion that you did.
No, it's just like, I've been through a lot of shit, and I hate seeing people my age, younger than me, or any age, going through some shit. So I want to use my platform and my voice to help people, like, just become their better selves, really.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. So now we come to Pollock's favourite segment, Ask Andrew Anything. This is where, after me grilling the guest for how long there, Ross?
27.5 minutes roughly.
27.5 minutes roughly. They get to flip it round and ask me a question. This could be something completely ridiculous, like, what's the reason for existence? Or it could be something totally random, like who would win in a fight between a crabfish and a chihuahua? So, Craig, do you have a question for me?
What are you having for your dinner tonight?
I have no fucking idea. The wife hasn't made it yet. I'm only kidding. Sadly, at the time of this recording, Alison still isn't well.
Get better soon, Alison.
Yeah, and she was. That's the only thing she said to me before I left. Not I love you, not have a good day. It was, what are we doing about dinner? I'm like, I don't know. You're saying you can't eat, and I'm not eating 2 dinners myself. I could, but I won't. Well, my boys could.
You could, you would, you should.
Yeah, I will. Craig, an absolute pleasure having you on, man.
Thank you for having me on, mate.
You're very welcome. And this time we done that, and I didn't almost knock over the mic.
Aye, good. That's what we tried that out before the show.
Definitely. So until next time, my 3 faithful followers, I have been Andrew Durning. This has been the amazing Craig Gallagher. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
No worries, mate. Anytime.
And until next time, my 3 faithful followers, take care, stay safe, bye bye.